There's something quietly poignant about stumbling upon a sedan that seems almost out of place in today's SUV-dominated landscape, and that's exactly the sensation you get when you slip behind the wheel of the 2026 Infiniti Q50. As Infiniti channels its energy into a booming roster of crossovers and midsize SUVs, the Q50 remains its steadfast last holdout, a reminder of the brand's roots in driver-focused luxury. Even though it hasn't been dramatically overhauled in recent years, the Q50 manages to carve out moments of genuine charm, carving its own niche for buyers who crave the tactile engagement of a traditional four-door and a thoroughly modern engine under the hood. Open the door and you'll find the familiar curve of the Q50's cabin greeting you with taut, leather-wrapped surfaces that still feel solid under your fingertips. The centerpiece of its appeal, however, lies in what you'll find once you press the starter button. The standard model's 3.0-liter twin-turbo V6 lets out a sharp bark before settling into a deep, sonorous idle and unmistakable cue that it's ready to unleash its 300 horsepower and 295 pound-feet of torque at a moment's notice. Step up to the Red Sport 400 and the stakes rise significantly. 400 horsepower and 350 pound-feet of torque transform everyday sprints into pulse-quickening blasts, delivering a 0 to 60 miles per hour time that hovers around 5.4 seconds. On long highway on-ramps or tech-laden city streets, that potent engine never feels strained, giving the Q50 a kind of linear, effortless thrust that's equally satisfying whether you're merging into traffic or indulging in a spirited backroad run. Despite that impressive engine, the Q50's overall dynamics are a study in contrasts. Its dual-pinion, variable ratio steering can feel a touch numb at times, muting the tactile feedback that aficionados often crave. Coupled with a stiffer-than-expected suspension setup, the car sometimes turns minor road irregularities into louder-than-desired interruptions in what otherwise would be a refined cabin experience. Push harder on a twisty stretch of asphalt, and you'll notice body roll that reminds you the Q50 prioritizes straight-line composure over razor-sharp cornering chops. Yet when you dial back the pace, there's an undeniable confidence in the way the suspension tames undulations and the chassis holds itself flat, qualities that earn the Q50 high marks for poise and predictability in everyday driving. Inside, Infiniti's decision to retain its dual-screen infotainment arrangement remains a matter of taste more than outright fall. The lower display, responsible for climate controls and vehicle settings, sits a bit low on the dash, prompting you to shift your gaze away from the road more often than you might like. Above it, the 8-inch screen that governs navigation, media, and smartphone integration does its job crisply enough, but its menus lack the seamless fluidity of the latest systems from rival German brands. That said, front seat occupants enjoy plush, bolstered seats that provide ample support on extended drives, with memory settings that precisely recall your preferred seating position. Back in the rear, legroom is generous for the class. Long-legged adults can stretch out without complaint, and the 60/40 folding rear bench accommodates larger cargo when weekend plans demand it. Refinement beyond the obvious engine roar is a mixed bag. Wind noise at highway speeds is subdued, and the cabin's overall build quality still feels reassuringly solid. However, braking performance underscores one of the Q50's more frustrating drawbacks. Our test vehicle required 123 feet to come to a full stop from 60 miles per hour, a distance that lags behind many of its direct competitors. In real-world terms, that translates to a slightly longer reaction zone when pedaling hard at speed, which can erode the confidence that the potent V6 otherwise inspires. Fuel economy, too, tends to cling to the lower end of the spectrum. Expect mid to high teens in mixed driving, so buyers seeking maximum efficiency might find themselves exploring alternatives. Which brings us to the Q50 standing among its peers. In a segment teeming with sophisticated options, the Mercedes-Benz C-Class, BMW 3 Series, Audi A4, Lexus IS, and Genesis G70 among them, Infiniti's offering stands apart through its characterful engine and its hesitant adherence to a more analog driving ethos. Where the Germans have chased ever-refined ride quality and razor-sharp handling, Infiniti has clung to the notion that driving should be an event of visceral exchange of sound, motion, and throttle response. Yet that same commitment to engagement leaves the Q50 feeling a step behind when it comes to the latest advancements in infotainment infotainment, high-definition dash displays, and semi-autonomous driver assists that have swiftly become de rigueur in this class. That isn't to say the Q50 lacks a role in today's market. For buyers who prioritize an engaging highway merge, who appreciate the throaty symphony of a turbocharged V6, and who enjoy the tactile reassurance of a drive-oriented cockpit, it remains an attractive option, especially when its sticker price undercuts many of its German rivals. On a tight budget, the Q50 can feel like a performance steal, delivering thrills that other sedans in its price bracket can only envy. Meanwhile, Infiniti's residual values tend to hold reasonably well, making lease deals and used Q50s appealing for those who want a taste of performance without an exorbitant long-term commitment. Still, if you're insistent on cutting-edge digital interfaces, near-silent ride quality, and the latest active safety bundles, the Q50 may feel like a throwback, albeit an occasionally charming one. It reminds us that not every driver places supreme value on touchscreen fluidity or ultra-precise steering calibrations. Some simply want to feel connected to the essence of driving, with all its noise, torque, and prompt throttle response. In that respect, the Q50 serves as a fitting valediction for Infiniti's sedan heritage, bridging yesterday's sporting intentions with today's uncompromising power plants.